Good day everyone. Today we're diving into a topic that is literally the lifeblood of our planet. And honestly, the reason we're even here to talk about it as part of our People and Earth's Ecosystem video, we're looking at the massive, complex, and sometimes fragile relationship between humanity and our blue spaces, our oceans, our coasts, and our fresh water sources. Come on, let's go. Let's enjoy this video. Why this matters right now? We often think of the ocean as this vast, invincible frontier, but the reality is that our footprints are everywhere, from the deepest trenches to the shorelines where billions of us live. In this video, we're breaking down the lifeline, how human civilizations have been built around water, and how we rely on it for everything from the air we breathe to the food on our plates. Next, the coastal crunch, where the edge of the world is the most high stakes real estate on Earth as sea levels rise and ecosystems drift. Next, the ripple effect. What happens to us when we change the chemistry of our oceans or the flow of our rivers? The hook is that is it possible for 8 billion people to thrive without draining the well dry or drowning out the very ecosystems that protects us? We're going beyond the surface to look at the science, the sociology, and the solutions. So grab your gear or just a glass of water, filtered hopefully, and let's get into it. Let's dive in. I'm gonna give you two examples of specific coastal communities in the Philippines that were recently affected by weather and climate change. Let's go. The Philippines, an archipelago positioned in the world's most active typhoon belt, faces a unique struggle as sea levels rise at nearly three times the global average. For many coastal communities, the edge of the world is no longer a scenic view but a battleground for survival. The first example, number 1, Hagonoy, Bulacan, named as the sinking town. Hagonoy is currently one of the most prominent examples of a coastal crunch. The community suffers from persistent flooding that no longer requires a typhoon to occur. High tides alone now submerge roads, homes. This caused by a lethal combination of sea level rise and land subsidence, or sinking ground, largely due to excessive groundwater extraction. The impact, number 1, residents have had to adapt by building houses on stilts, may silong, using boats as primary transportation, and even creating elevated tricycles to navigate flooded streets. Our number 2 case is at Batasan Island, Tubigon, Bohol. Following a major earthquake in 2013 that caused the land to sink, Batasan Island has become a living laboratory for climate adaptation. The island is now partially submerged during high tides, effectively turning the community into a series of stilt houses. The impact? Natural hazards such as a storm surge and tidal flooding hamper daily activities. The community has responded by planting mangroves to act as a natural buffer against waves and rising waters. Next, what are the government agencies' response to this? To address these ripple effects, the Philippine government and international agencies have shifted toward long-term resilience strategies. First, National Adaptation Plan, or NAP, 2023 to 2050. The scope. This flagship policy prioritizes sectors like fisheries, food security, and water resources. It emphasizes nature-based solutions, such as restoring coral reefs and mangroves to protect coastlines naturally. Second, resilient infrastructure. The government is investing in seawalls, upgraded drainage systems, and early warning systems in major cities like Manila. The third, climate finance. The government is exploring tax reforms and borrowing, specifically to fund climate resilient projects, with adaptation needs estimated to reach 100 billion by 2040. Lastly, provide or give one marine sanctuary in the country and discuss its significance to the environment and the community. The Apo Island Marine Sanctuary is located along the southeastern coast of Apo Island, a 74-hectare volcanic island in the Wind, Negros Oriental, Philippines. It lies 7 kilometers off the coast of Barangay Malatapay in Zamboanga and about 25 to 30 kilometers south of Dumaguete City. Access is via 30-minute boat ride from Malatapay Market. Apo Island considers as one of the oldest and most successful community-led marine sanctuaries in the world. Significance to the environment. Biodiversity hub. It houses approximately 400 of corals, nearly the entire variety found in the Philippines. Next, the spillover effect. By protecting a no-take zone, fish populations grow and mature within the sanctuary. Once the area becomes crowded, these fish spill over into non-protected areas where they can be legally caught by local fishers. Second, significance to the community. Food security. Before the sanctuary, fish stocks were depleted by destructive methods like dynamite fishing. Now, the spillover effect ensures a stable, sustainable supply of food for the islanders. Second, economic lifeline. The sanctuary has transformed the island into a world-class diving destination. Ecotourism provides a massive source of income, allowing the community to shift away from over-reliance on fishing. By protecting these marine lifelines, communities like Apo Island demonstrate that while the climate crisis is a coastal crunch, the active conservation can create the ripple effect of hope and sustainability. That's all.